We'll go ahead and call the 8th meeting of the House Standing Committee on Transportation to order. At this time, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Branscombe.
Present in the room.
Representative Dixon.
Present in the room.
Representative Fleming. Representative Hale.
Present here.
Representative Heverin.
Present in the room. I've made my arrival. Thank you, Chairman Upchurch.
We were waiting on you for a quorum.
Representative Regina Huff. Representative Thomas Huff.
Present in the room.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox. Representative McCool.
Here.
Representative McPherson.
Present in the room.
Representative Miller. Representative Palumbo.
Here in my annex office.
Representative Santoro. Representative Smith. Representative Stevenson. Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Thomas. Representative Westrom.
Here on Zoom.
Representative Wheatley.
Here.
Representative Bridges. Chairman Upchurch.
Here. We do have a quorum. We're duly constituted to do business. This time I'm going to recognize Representative Branscombe, who has a very special guest amongst us today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have my son Knox. He is with me today. He came up last night. His sister's going to be on the House floor paging today, but he wanted to come stay with Dad last night and be here this morning for committee meeting. I asked him this morning if he ever wanted to be a legislator. He said, if you guys have to wear this every day, no way. So, so I'm glad to have him with us.
And after he arrived today, I've named him honorary co-chair for the day. And when we gavelled in, it was him doing the gaveling. All right. Okay, before we get started, I just want to announce to the committee that on House Bill 545, there was an error in the drafting of the committee sub. Staff tried to take the blame for it, but I won't let them fall on the sword. That falls on the chairman. We're going to do that bill last. Just in a nutshell, what it does is it deletes the original language of House Bill 45 and replaces it with the language in the committee sub. The committee sub had both the new language and the old language. So we're just putting that out there for you to review between now and the time we call it up for a vote. So at this time, I'm going to ask Senator Wheeler to come up, and we're going to do Senate Bill 124. We do have a committee sub 2. So got a motion and a second on the sub. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We have the committee sub number 2 before us. Representative Wheeler, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's an honor to appear before the committee today. Senate Bill 124 is a change in statute to essentially get people back to work. I think that's been one of the major focuses of this General Assembly during the 2022 legislative session. I can tell you from my own experience throughout Eastern Kentucky, there are many, many skilled truck drivers who, during the pandemic, essentially, for one reason or another, perhaps they were laid off and their employer generally paid their physical cards, or they just weren't able to get into a doctor at a time when the governor shut down medical offices. They allowed their medical card for their CDL to expire. Unfortunately, under the current interpretation of the law, in order to...
We do have a motion and a second on the bill. Are there any questions of any of the members of the committee? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Branscombe.
Yes.
Representative Bridges.
Yes.
Representative Dixon.
Yes.
Representative Fleming.
Yes.
Representative Hale.
Yes.
Representative Heverin.
Yes.
Representative Regina Huff. Representative Thomas Huff.
Yes.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Miller, Representative Palumbo,
Yes.
Representative Santoro, Representative Smith, Representative Stevenson, Representative Tackett Lafferty, Representative Thomas, Representative Westrom,
Yes.
Representative Wheatley,
Yes.
Chairman Upchurch.
Yes. Bill does pass. We do have a title amendment. Is there a motion? Got a motion and a second on the title amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
All right. Next up, let's call Representative Miller, House Concurrent Resolution 124. We'll keep to the 124s first, right out of the bat. Get them out of the way. Please introduce yourself for the record, and you may proceed.
I'm Jerry Miller, represent the 36th District, Eastern Jefferson County, Little Oldham.
Representative Thomas Huff, represent 49th District, Bullock County.
Gas prices have been rising. On Monday, U.S. gas prices hit $4.17 average nationally. That is the highest in 14 years, when in July of 2008. In Jefferson County, one of the areas that still requires RFG, unlike northern Kentucky, which a few years got off of it, there are many areas around the country that are still required to convert to RFG in the summer months. Actually, the conversion will start happening probably in April. When that happens, gas prices in areas using RFG, reformulated gas, will bump 20 to 30 cents.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions of any of the members of the committee? I've done a wonderful job.
The only thing I'd like to say, this does call on President Biden and the federal government to suspend the use of RFG nationally. And my wingman here would like to say what he's doing locally.
Okay, I've also prepared a letter for the governor asking him to consider suspending reformulated gas for the duration of this kind of inflationary crisis we're involved in right now.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're not answering, so if you could have.
Are there any questions of any of the members of the committee? Going once. Representative Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Miller, you and Representative Bradshaw coordinated an effort to put forth a study to look at the RFG some time ago. That was, I think, it was sent to the governor and maybe even to the mayor. Could you just refresh us the efforts of that and what happened with that?
Actually, it's Representative Huff that initiated that.
Okay,
was
sorry.
the leader on it.
I apologize, Representative Huff.
Absolutely. That was sent to the environmental cabinet, and they said that the trying to think of the phrase here, attainment was not achieved, which is surprising because it was during a time when everything was closed down. You know, during the beginning of the pandemic, people were unemployed, and anyway, they said it had not reached attainment. But this is a temporary request that we're asking for.
Right, just for 2020, just for 2022.
Thank you.
Any other members? Representative Wheatley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Going back to, I think your original statement said it was $4.14, the highest since July of 2008.
National average, 417. I think it was Monday or Tuesday it hit that.
Thank you. Do you recall from that time how long it took to come down to the dollar amounts that we were paying in, say, 2018, 19, 20, before the pandemic? I mean, prices go up and prices go down, and reformulated gas, of course, is more expensive. We dealt with that in Northern Kentucky, and we usually get things done quicker and better than some other parts of the state. So, do you recall what happened in 2008?
Rubbing in those tolls. I don't recall how long. I don't know if Representative Huff does, but I'm sorry, I just don't recall.
Thank you.
Any other members? Okay, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Branscombe,
Yes.
Representative Bridges,
Yes.
Representative Dixon, Representative Fleming, Representative Hale,
Yes.
Representative Heverin, Representative Regina Huff, Representative Thomas Huff,
I think I'll go ahead and vote yes today.
Representative Lewis, Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Miller, Representative Palumbo,
Yes.
Representative Santoro, Representative Smith, Representative Stevenson, Representative Tackett Lafferty, Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Westrom,
Yes.
Representative Wheatley,
Yes.
Chairman Upchurch.
Yes. Bill does pass with favorable expression. Same should pass. Representative Westrom, can you clarify if you're voting from your office on campus?
No, I'm in my home office.
So, okay. So, okay. You won't be eligible to vote on any of the bills before us.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
But I'll still know what you're doing, and I'm watching closely.
There you go. We want you to watch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Bill does
Thank you.
pass. Okay, next up, let's do Senate Joint Resolution 6, which is our annual road naming bill. Representative Freeland, you have, what's that? Oh,
I'd like to
Freeland, I'm sorry.
to record my presence and then record a yes vote on SB 124 with PHS number 2 on there.
Okay. Good deal. All right. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning, so forgive me. No. All right. Senate Joint Resolution 6 is the annual road naming bill. We have, I think all the members have participated in this at various times during their career in the legislature, so we have a House Committee sub before us. We've got a motion and a second on the sub. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any questions of any of the members? Motion, and now we got a motion and a second on the committee sub. Are there any questions? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Branscombe,
Yes.
Representative Bridges, Representative Dixon, Representative Fleming, Representative Hale, Representative Heverin, Representative Regina Huff, Representative Thomas Huff,
Yes.
Representative Lewis, Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Miller, Representative Palumbo,
Yes.
Representative Santoro,
Yes.
Representative Smith, Representative Stevenson, Representative Tackett Lafferty, Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Wheatley,
Yes.
Chairman Upchurch.
Yes. Bill does pass with favorable expression. Same should pass. Committee, just stand at ease for a second. All right. Turn your turn your mic on.
Could I record my votes
Certainly.
while we're waiting?
Certainly.
Okay. I will record yes votes on the two bills that I've missed.
Can you say which bills for the record?
Let's see. Yes. SB 124 and HCR 124.
Okay, good deal. I'll tell you what we'll do then is go ahead and move on House Bill 545. We were going to do it last, but since we're waiting on Senator Higdon, we'll go ahead and try to keep things rolling. Representative Dixon, if you want to introduce yourself for the record, and
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Representative Jonathan Dixon from the 11th District. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to present on House Bill 545 today. Mr. Chairman, I do believe we have a committee sub and an amendment we need to adopt.
We got a motion and a second on the committee sub. Well, not yet.
No.
We've got to adopt the title sub. All those in favor of the adoption of the committee sub, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We have the sub before us.
Okay. Do we need to move on the amendment?
Now we need to move on the committee amendment. And as I explained earlier, that just deletes out the original portion of House Bill 545 and leaves in the portion of the House Committee amendment that you all saw yesterday. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Now we have the bill as amended with committee sub and committee amendment before us. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee sub before you with the amendment removes the original language of 545 and simply adds the language to create a structure to the budget process when it comes to aviation projects. The placement of this language in statute will require aviation projects and investments to be ranked and judged by their cost, their needs, and their impact to the state, just like the road plan currently provides. This mirrors the same process as the shift formula that we currently use for our road plan, just for aviation. The additional step will help these individuals when crafting our budget, our transportation budget, to make good, sound fiscal decisions with our tax dollars in the future when it comes to aviation investments and development projects.
Okay, we have a motion on the bill and a second. Are there any questions? Representative Wheatley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for this bill. I think it has excellent ideas in it. I just want to check in on, do you know if current aviation budgeted requested dollars, what kind of dollars are not being budgeted? Do you have any, do we have any indication of, for instance, there was a request for $100 million and we only budgeted $20 million?
Yeah. No, I currently don't, but I do know that implementing a formula like this will prioritize those projects that we have in our states to give us some clarity on where do we need to spend those dollars best and how are we going to best spend them for aviation projects. So,
thank you. And one follow-up?
Sure.
We've had issues before with funds being swept out of certain funds that are established. So is there protections here to keep that from happening? Are you aware?
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't change any of the funds or budgeting process that happens in the transportation budget. All this would actually do is add that structure to that so that those projects are clear. This ties to an old fund that was set up off the jet fuel tax fund, the jet fuel tax money goes into that fund that was set up back in 2000, which is part of the general budget that we use for transportation, as it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, any of the members? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Branscombe?
Yes.
Representative Bridges?
Yes.
Representative Dixon?
Yes.
Representative Fleming? Representative Hale?
Yes.
Representative Heverin? Yes. Representative Regina Huff? Representative Thomas Huff?
Yes.
Representative Lewis? Representative Maddox?
Yes.
Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Miller, Representative Palumbo,
Yes.
Representative Santoro, Representative Smith, Representative Stevenson, Representative Tackett Lafferty, Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Wheatley,
Yes.
Chairman Upchurch.
Yes. Bill does pass with favorable expression. Now we need to roll this into a committee sub, new committee sub, so I'll need a motion to roll it into got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Now we have a title amendment. Need a motion on the title. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Now we have the bill as amended with the committee sub, the committee amendment, and the title rolled into a committee, another committee sub, and a title amendment. So,
Mr. Chairman, staff, thank you for your work on this. Committee members, thank you for your indulgence and patience in the process.
thank you. And I appreciate the patience of the committee as we work through this process to get this corrected for this morning, knowing that the amendment didn't come until this morning. So, all right. Next up is Senator Higdon with Senate Bill 347. Looks like you might have a guest with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I have a helper today. She's helped me get through several presentations so far. In fact, in the last committee I was in, she got me several votes, so I appreciate that. It's Maddie Snellman. She's from Nelson County. She's a third grader at St. Joe Elementary in Barstown. So thank you for being with me today, Maddie. You've done a great job. Senate Bill 347 is a bill that deals with the transportation cabinet and electric vehicles. As some of you know, or many of you know, you've heard about the Infrastructure Act, and Kentucky, I think it's somewhere around $10 million a year, $50 million over 5 years that we get for infrastructure on electric vehicles. And this bill, the Transportation Cabinet by August 1 is required to report to the federal government how they intend to spend that money and how they intend to implement these electric vehicle charging stations. So all this bill simply does is directs the Transportation Cabinet to share that report, share their comments that they're going to share with the federal government, that they share it with the Interjoint Committee on Transportation, that they share that report with us so we can see it prior to reading about it in the Courier or Lexington Herald or most likely online. But anyway, and Mr. Chairman, I think you have a committee sub.
We do have a committee sub number 2. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Now we have the committee sub before us.
Now, this is not my sub, but it's a friendly sub. Very well done. And currently we have speed titles, and there's been some problems with speed titles on salvage and rebuilt titles. So this simply says on salvage and rebuilt titles, the cabinet can have up to 15 business days to turn around a title for rebuilt vehicles that have been branded as unrebuildable in another state, and up to 5 business days for all salvage and rebuilt vehicles. So it's a good amendment. It gives some guidance, and rebuild vehicles are not a huge business in Kentucky, but it's very important to some people. So we want to be able to get those titles in a timely manner. So, Mr. Chairman, that's 2 simple bills put together to make a good bill.
Okay. We do have questions. Representative Wheatley.
Thank you, Senator, for bringing this. And there was an issue brought to me by one of my local clerks related to cars that come from out of state that have bad titles or have titles that have to be repaired. Does this have to do, and she had described the issue related to water damaged cars that had been flooded, and that Kentucky is becoming somewhat of a place to do this. She used the words dump the vehicles, but Do you know if this has anything to do with that or protecting that from happening?
You know, that's a very good question. I might ask the chairman of the committee to help me answer that one. I think we're good on that, but that is a legitimate question, and that is an issue. But I'm not real sure on that process.
Actually, if you, Tom Underwood is in the audience, I see him, so if he'll come up and we'll have him.
Thank you for the backup.
There you go.
For the record, my name is Tom Underwood. I'm sorry, and I don't know how to use a microphone.
This is your first session, right?
Yes. Thank you. I'm Ryan Underwood's intern. I'm Tom Underwood. I am the executive director of the Kentucky Automobile and Truck Recyclers Association. And to your question, Representative, yes, there are water cars. I wouldn't call it a dumping ground, but water cars is a broad title for vehicles. Insurance companies often will title a vehicle, red title a vehicle, even if the water doesn't get into the internal part of the car. And those are the ones that we're seeing come in for the most part. And these vehicles can be repaired because they truly don't have mechanical damage. They need to be cleaned up, and possibly seat motors is the big thing that they have a problem with. I hope that answers your question.
That's fine. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Water title vehicles are in the Upchurch household. Got two of them. All right. We have Representative Bridges.
Yes, I know KPMA and a few others had some concerns. Did we get those addressed in the committee sub?
We had a lot of concerns with the bill, and yes, we cleaned those up. Primarily, I had a section in there that talked about rest areas and commercial activity in rest areas. And currently, under this federal regulations, there's no commercial activity is allowed in the rest areas. But there are attempts for lobbying for the federal government to allow commercial activity in rest areas, and there's lobbying to keep it from having commercial activity. Basically, what I was looking at is there's no commercial activity allowed in rest areas, but the Kentucky Department of Blind operates the vending machines there. I thought it'd be a good idea if we, rest areas, if they had a charging station, it's kind of a vending machine that the Kentucky Department of Blind would also operate those. And there was some concern about, so the underlying bill, the main reason for the bill is that we get a copy of the report before it goes to the federal government. So it was a very easy one to take out. That's not a debate that we need to have right now. Like I said, under current federal law, it's not allowable. So we're good.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions, any of the members?
Senator, do you think there's a possibility that they would partner with filling stations to put these?
They will, and I think that's part of the grant process, and we do speak a little bit to grants. This $10 million a year that we get, there will be a grant process that the state will administer, and that'll be in this plan when it comes out, most likely, how they plan to implement charging stations. And they had to have a plan for the main corridors through the state, they want a charging station every 50 miles. I think I'm correct on that. So this plan that the Transportation Cabinet submits will address all those and talk about how they plan to partner with folks along those corridors and then eventually into the interior of the state.
Okay. We've got a motion on the bill and a second. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Branscombe?
Yes.
Representative Bridges?
Yes.
Representative Dixon?
Yes.
Representative Fleming? Representative Hale?
Yes.
Representative Heverin?
Yes.
Representative Regina Huff. Representative Thomas Huff.
Yes.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox.
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative McPherson.
Yes.
Representative Miller. Representative Palumbo.
Yes.
Representative Santoro. Yes. Representative Smith. Representative Stevenson.
Yes.
Representative Tackett Lafferty. Yes. Representative Thomas.
I recommend keeping her with you. She's bringing you good luck. I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Representative Wheatley.
Aye.
Chairman Upchurch.
Yes, bill does pass with favorable expression. Same should pass. We do have a title amendment. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you, and have a blessed day as we go into these last several days. I know they're hectic for everyone, so take care.
Thank you. Just for the members, I think this will be hopefully our last meeting of the session, barring any unforeseen matters that might come before us. But I want to thank you all for your patience this session, and I want to recognize all the staff. I'm going to have them stand. That way they can be recognized because they've done a great job this session. All right. There being no further business to come before us, I'm going to let my co-chair here gavel us out. We do now stand